think we're up and running. Hello, chaps. How are you all?
Good evening, all.
Ed's found a way. How do you manage to do that?
Do what?
Support your glasses on the top of your head when it's so smooth up there.
Ooh.
Friction.
How are we all?
It's the funny thing, right? I take my glasses off to read. Yeah, that's how bizarre it is. I have reading glasses. These are my reading. Well, one of my pairs of reading glasses, but it's just like I've just got into the habit now of just lifting them up and like holding the phone, like that.
Do you know what I always do? I always leave my glasses on the wrong floor of the house. I'll take them off downstairs, come upstairs, sit with the screen, go, and then go back downstairs to retrieve them again. It's like, I don't have more than one pair. A slight design flaw on my part.
Yeah, because I don't think I'm at that stage yet where I want. Is it bifocals or varifocals?
Yeah,
I ain't doing that. I ain't going down that route.
Gap was claiming we haven't had an intro.
And hello. Yeah, what intro?
There was an intro.
I thought there
was an intro.
I thought there was an intro.
There was an intro.
The
Although
intro played before
we said that at 8 o'clock, and we went live then. Oh, hello, Mark. How are you?
How the devil?
You didn't tell everyone.
I always say this as though I'm expecting an answer. How are you?
Yeah.
You have to read the answer. That's how it works.
So,
should we do that in an Obi-Wan voice? Well, hello there.
Hello there. Yeah, apparently I'm live on YouTube, apparently. It's very nice of Google to tell me, isn't it? You get a ping on your phone and you think, is it important? No, it's just telling me something I already know.
Yes.
Oh, he's going to tell me tomorrow. He's going to pop into the shop tomorrow.
Ooh.
And Conzilla's here as well. Hello there, Connor.
Mecha Conzilla. It's a great name, that. I like that name.
So, Andy, you put forward the idea for tonight's topic. So do you want to explain what it is?
Yes, and I will do so with the aid of an illustration. There were never any toys for this film. Troll.
Yeah.
I believe that to be the case. I'm often wrong about these things, but I think I did actually look into it once. And whilst there might have been prototypes at one stage, I believe they never actually got round to releasing any actual Kroll toys. So you can't get a glaive. I'm sure you probably can now, but you couldn't get a glaive. You couldn't. And I thought it was a sort of thing that was crying out for toys because you had all the sort of armored enemy. I forget what their official name is, but the sort of the dark forces, if you like. Then you had all the people from Grange Hill and stuff that were on it. Liam Neeson was in it. I mean, it's crying out for someone to do a big range of them. Yeah, but when
is that a custom then? Is that a custom?
Well, that must. Yeah, I'm sure they weren't around at the time. Am I wrong? I thought these were modern ones.
Possibly. I don't know.
I thought somebody had mocked some up as well, actually. So I'm not sure if these ones actually exist, but maybe someone did.
That picture and that picture are exactly the same one because they've got the same crease across the card, and the price ticket is in exactly the same place.
Yeah,
I think the customs is it Channel makes them
because that's not really what he looked like either. That's more like a Conan the Barbarian with one eye, isn't it?
No, it looked like Bernard Bresslaw.
I'm going to say something, and you're probably not going to be surprised at all. I've never seen Krill.
Right, we're going to have to tie him into an armchair and just feed him classic 80s movies.
Hello there, Benjamin.
Names, clearly. Are we telling me
you may, Mark. You may get a coffee tomorrow. Yes, remind me. Andy, are you in jail?
Gap, could you elucidate on that?
Or elaborate?
Does he mean because I've got a barren background, perhaps?
Can you see with those glasses on, Ed?
These ones?
Yeah.
Or does he mean me?
Hello, Sean.
Hello, Sean.
How are you there, sir?
I'll talk enterprises later.
These are my Gestapo glasses.
I'm a bad subscriber. I missed the beginning. But you're here for the main event, which
You are
hasn't really
here for
started
main
yet.
events, and we are an hour early, so you could be forgiven for turning up an hour late.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But this will be our new.
It's a
new
trial, isn't it?
Handing
We are running a trial at the moment. I like this. Blue Harvest isn't watching via my live stream. He's watching via one of your twos.
Oh.
Because
Super.
his comments are coming in on a link, apparently.
Oh. Okay. Interesting. Marvellous.
I think Gap is watching via mine. Hello, Gap.
Clearly for my birthday, I need a green screen.
You're going to get a green screen?
Well, I have toyed with the idea in the past because it would allow me to do something more exciting when I'm sat up here with my Baron's work safe background. So
I'd just stick a couple of posters up.
Yeah, I could get one of those roll out projector screen type things. Just do that at the back. Stranger things have happened.
And did the Ghostbusters sell? Actually, the car sold. Your Ecto 1 sold. A couple of the figures did. I've still got the Firehouse, which I'm quite surprised at. I thought that would have gone by now.
Now that's actually...
I'm going to leave that there because nobody else is privy to this conversation.
Can I just interject here? I've got some information for Andy.
Okay,
right.
go on.
With regard to Krull, I've just been having a quick look. So, no, there wasn't very much merchandise at all. Apparently, all there was a Parker Brothers board game, a card game, a storybook, a Marvel comic, and an Atari 2600 game, and an arcade game.
But no actual toys as such, then. So I was on topic then, so no actual toys of Krull were produced at the time.
But the vinyl, apparently the toys that we're seeing now are quite recent.
I thought they were. I'd actually forgotten they did exist, but I thought that at the time there weren't any. So yeah, so that worked. Okay. I do have another candidate, and in fact, I think this was one of the ones that was mentioned on the thread that you started, Gareth. That is The Last Starfighter. He's going to tell me he hasn't seen it. Oh, Gareth, no, dude, come on!
You see, that's on my list. Is that Last Starfighter?
Have you not seen it?
No, I've seen it. I've seen it 6 times.
It's so hard to find, though. It's really hard to find a disc for it. It doesn't seem to be on Blu-ray.
I've seen it because I'm not a knobhead.
Gareth wants to tell you, but typing on Andy's channel. Okay.
You'd telling
that's very kind of you, Mark. That gives both of us the view.
That's a 2 for 1. That's a buy one, get one free, that, isn't it? Thank you, Mark.
You'll have to flip over to Ed's halfway through so that at least all three of us have had a view from you.
So for
Gap's wishing us a happy Halloween, is he?
Looks like it. So for reasons I don't understand, The Last Starfighter does not seem to be out on Blu-ray. I've even checked so this one, for example, this was a Krull Blu-ray. This is, I think this was on HMV. This was from HMV as an exclusive. I think they had a particular series going, so their premium collection had this one and a few others that were quite obscure. They'd 2010. So the sequel to 2001, 2010, they had that, which I hadn't seen for ages on disc. So I really thought that Last Starfighter would get a shout, and I've seen copies of it on Amazon that are probably would work, but I think they're all from the US. So I'm just not quite sure why it never appears over here, because it's got real. I was just going to say
The Last Starfighter is indeed out on Blu-ray. But I believe it is an American one. I think there's distribution issues with it, because I can remember a friend of mine recently. I say recently, it's the latest issue of The Last Starfighter was by Arrow Video, and when they announced it on their Facebook, I can remember a friend of mine commenting on it saying, "Why won't you bring it out in the UK?"
Right. That's interesting. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I remember
it's available to watch on Amazon Prime.
Yes, that's where I've seen it. It's not a physical disc of it. I remember it from the rental stores at the time. I remember it looked so uninspiring for some reason that the cover of it just didn't really give you any proper clue. But for me, it had the word Starfighter in it. Therefore, I was contractually obliged to watch it. And it was a bit creepy actually for the age that I saw it at. But it was the first film to use CGI in space in a fairly big way. I mean, it wasn't hyper sophisticated, but it was enough that you believed it. You know, it was so in that sense, it was actually a bit like Tron did, you know. So that was really, it was just really, really good. And everyone knows what Death Blossom is, of course. Gareth's going, no, I don't. Yeah, I know you don't. I get it. It's just a thing to anyway. I'll not mention it more because it's spoilers. But anyway,
yeah, there was a Yu-Gi-Oh card with a very similar name.
Yeah, it spawned a lot of stuff now calls itself that. Whether it was the first to actually use it, I don't know, but that's what I would tag it to if it were me, you know. But yeah, it's Gareth has made out of CGI, funny. But no, it was just one of those things. But I don't remember that there was ever a model of the ship at the time that I remember. I mean, the thing is, there may well have been model kits since then, or maybe model kits at the time, but toys wise, I don't think they did any. I could be wrong. There could have been some in America that I don't know of, and not really one I've searched up. So I stand to be corrected if someone could tell me otherwise. But somebody in your thread thought that it hadn't had anything as well, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to respond to Sean here. It's like, that's the point, Sean. Nobody made any Krull toys. That's what we're talking about this evening. We're going to be talking about toys that were never made, you know, or toy lines.
That you wish had toys that had a line but didn't feature a character you wish they had.
So in the original Transformers line, there was no Unicron or RC. Yeah.
Indeed.
And it can't just be me.
There was a prototype for RC.
There
was a prototype for RC.
Yeah, wasn't it using chrome domes?
It was.
Mold? Yeah.
Have you been paying attention when I've been talking?
I do. I've always paid attention to you, Eddie. There's certain times when I just switch off halfway through a conversation. That's when you have to nudge me or kick me and say, Gareth. Benjamin watches it on his tablet. Types on his phone. Fair enough.
Right. There you go, Andy.
There were last Starfighter toys.
Okay.
They were by Galoob, but they cancelled it before they released it because the film didn't do well.
Oh, I see. So they'd made them but not released them. Right. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's like they're alien figures then, isn't it?
So they're presumably worth a pretty penny then if you can get your mitts on them somehow. They look pretty decent as well.
I would assume they'll probably be maybe, I don't know, if Galoob or its subsidiary or whoever owns Galoob now, probably in one of their dusty warehouses somewhere, packed away or something, you know.
Warehouse 13, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So there were some toys, but just not in the line was cancelled before it went into production.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I mean, the thing is, a lot of cartoons were obviously done with a view to selling toys. So generally speaking, you would expect the cartoon to have toys, wouldn't you? So I guess you're more limited, sort of feature film and live action wise, as to things that might not have got it that you wish had. But it was funny because the more I thought about it, the more having started collecting, I've thought, actually, I can actually think of toys for a lot of these, which I might not have even sort of vaguely considered as at the time when it was on. I wouldn't have been getting toys, so I wouldn't have known, you know, I wouldn't have gone looking for it.
You see, can somebody see my list that I've got here? Because Gap's just mentioned one that's on my list as well, Logan's Run.
Logan's Run.
Silent Running.
Yeah, Silent Running. That's on my list, you bastard.
we're playing Ed's list bingo
right,
here.
See you later. Bye.
the little droids. Yeah, they've done the little droids.
Well, apparently there's never been a figure of me either.
Yeah.
It was one in the original Star Wars run, the Gamorrean Guard. That was me.
Obviously not the Disney Gamorrean Guards, because they're a lot slimmer now than what the original were.
Oh yeah, I'm the fat one. Any giveaways tonight? You know, it's very strange, but I did actually consider that. But I'm not getting enough viewers per episode to be doing giveaways just yet. But
Mark,
yeah, I did actually consider.
Make you know that. Come on.
They get a giveaway every fortnight. Our time.
Our time, yes.
Our time is the giveaway.
Yeah, no, I did actually consider doing a giveaway, but
yeah, if they're only coming here to get a freebie, balls to you. Get going. Don't come with begging bowl here. You watch us for us, not for what you can get out of it.
Mark,
no, what it is because he's coming tomorrow and he's thinking he can get so much straight away.
Ah, right.
Yes, yeah. I am cheap. I'm very cheap.
Mark, there were V figures. There were V toys. We just never.
There were
some limited, not on these shores toys, I believe.
There were 12. There were a 12-inch figure with a removable face,
visitor,
and then there were lots of like spurious stuff that they just slapped the V logo onto. So
I've got the V storybook. It's bizarre. It's like a kid's storybook, but it's V.
Yeah. in the actual first episode of the miniseries, you actually see the intended toy line being played with by Donovan's son. Yeah. But because it didn't go very well. Well, sorry, no, it's not that it didn't go very well. It was just basically because the film studio kind of cheaped out a bit and they decided to cancel. Because I do believe one of the Jeeps that they used for it was a repurposed from 3 and I think it was 3 3/4 line. It was Daisy Duke's Jeep from Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, and they just like repainted it. I think we were going to use it as like Ham Tyler's Jeep or something like that.
Good old Michael Ironside. He gets around, doesn't he?
Yeah. But the 12-inch figure. Yeah.
Scanners, we probably never got any toys out from because they'd have been a bit graphic, I guess.
What's that?
As Scanners, we probably never got any toys for either. Strangely enough.
No. But I mean, you could say films like. I mean, there weren't any toys for RoboCop. The film. There wasn't any toys for RoboCop. The film. There were for the animated series, the cartoon, which wasn't very good. But the actual film itself.
I was going to say, 'cause I have seen some toys for RoboCop, but as you say, they could have been, they could even been for the TV series that followed.
No, it was for the animation. Right. It was for the cartoon that they did.
I think there was some for the TV series as well. Because I can remember seeing. Well, I've had there's a police van, and I'm sure they did a police car.
Right.
And
I could be wrong then. Yeah.
They did some which looked cartoony, and then they did some that didn't look cartoony, which I'm assuming the ones that weren't cartoony didn't come from the animated series.
Mm.
Right. I think that Mark's just put about Kenner. I think the Kenner ones. It wasn't Ed 209. They called it Ed 269. it was like a cap firing thing. It fired caps, but on the paper roll, you could put it through the back, and then you like flicked a thing, and it fired. And RoboCop was the same. The back of him came off, and he could put these caps down his back, and he pulled the trigger.
So 260.
260 is it?
It was Ed 260.
That's it. Well, one digit out.
Yeah. In fact,
I'm just thinking about Blue Thunder and Street Hawk. Were there any toys from the era?
Street Hawk, yeah, those are them. Those are the RoboCop. Are they for the animated series, or were they for the TV show then?
If there's a sort of completely black RoboCop, then it's a live action one.
Right, that's the cartoon then.
Is that the cartoon?
That's the cartoon, yeah. Because I had the RoboCop and the Ed 260.
Okay, interesting.
Because the RoboCop, I ended up painting him because he looks nothing like he does in the film.
That's the police car I was talking about.
Yeah, it's the Ultra Police. Then it's for the cartoon.
Ah, interesting. Okay. There's a game out of RoboCop apparently as well.
There was another company that did them. Oh.
Yeah, there's new
Island.
I think I don't know if the game's out yet. Another demo's out, but it's a first
Demo's out,
person.
yeah.
It's a first person one, and I can't play first person games. So
it looked quite authentic though. Apparently, Dudar actually voiced it as well for them.
Oh, Peter Weller.
Yeah.
Toy Island. That's it. Toy Island.
Toy Island. Yeah.
No, I don't think that's for the cartoon series, is it?
When did they come out?
Let's have a look.
Thundar the Barbarian. See that now? The other thing that they were very shy on in those days was game time.
93.
Yeah. So it's 6 years after the film came out. So I can't.
Quite a bit later, isn't it?
Yeah. So you can't really claim them to be, toys of the film at the time.
That's the
later
part of a 4x4, isn't it?
and the later films were, when you think about it, they were less dark than the original one. So that's probably why. Because then you started getting jetpacks and like big, sort of swappable.
I was just going to say that.
Hands and stuff, didn't he? So you can tell they were thinking towards merchandise at that point. I think more so.
Yeah, RoboCop 3 were
best left unmentioned. Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of my t-shirt gap, but like I said earlier, it's getting colder now.
Why? What's your t-shirt, Gareth?
It's the Joker.
And what's Andy wearing? Oh,
don't panic.
He's wearing his usual.
I'm trying to explain it to my son. Honestly, he's so uncultured.
There's no Thundar the Barbarian toys, is there not?
And that's what I'm wearing.
Yeah. No toys for that either.
No toys for that.
Do you know what? I've always wished that they would have brought out, or some. I mean, you can probably get 3D printed ones, but the ships from Elite, they would have been a doddle because they're only polygons. You could just added a bit more, bolted a bit more detail on, but that was never a thing either. Because, of course, computer game tie-ins back in my era anyway would never have been a thing. I mean, nowadays you probably do it quite easily, I guess.
Well, I mean, there were computer game tie-ins. I mean, a couple of weeks ago for Collector's Archive, I'd got a set of games to put aside, like for the show and tell part to quickly go through. But I mean, there was He-Man, there was Thundercats, there was GoBots, there was Transformers, there was Batman.
Yeah, but for that, the toys came first, of course. So those games are tie-ins to the toys rather than being a first intellectual property that toys were then produced from. See what I mean?
Yeah, no, right, yeah, okay, sorry, yeah, I misunderstood now. I meant like there were tie-in merchandise to a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
What game are we talking about?
It's the is it the RoboCop Delta City?
RoboCop. Yes.
I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah.
No, I tripped across a YouTube trailer for it. Well, not a trailer, but like a playthrough in the demo.
It does look nice, but it's just a shame that they've made it locked, first person locked. You can't go third person. And I think with a game like RoboCop, it would be better to be as third person because you want to see RoboCop.
There are definitely cutscenes with him in, but
I wouldn't be surprised if they're not doing it to try and push the whole virtual VR thing.
Yeah. But I mean, people like me who can't play first person because you end up getting a migraine and throwing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So third person.
Yeah, we've covered that one, haven't we?
Yeah.
Gap says that it did have the only 12-inch V figure that they made, but they never made anything else after it.
No, they didn't. No.
I don't mean to miss out everyone's comments. I just tried to put them in when it kind of suits what we're talking about. That's all.
I'm just going through what you've all talked about that's on my list. So, right, you spoke about
that. Well, I actually don't have a list.
No, I've just got whatever's in my head. Things that I had to think about.
No, I did my homework.
You did your homework. You did your
I did my
homework.
Good
You
lad.
did his homework so that we could do a live stream.
Right, okay. I've got one for you then. Tripods.
Tripods. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
I've got a soundtrack. I've got books. But I think you're right. I don't think toys were ever on my list.
But you see, the thing is, though, I mean, for a lot of these films or shows that they didn't make toys for, as a kid, I found myself making stuff either with Lego or plasticine.
That's where Lego comes in, isn't it?
So, so for the aforementioned tripods, I made like the alien creatures out of plasticine. So, just like three-legged things with a big eye, and then the metallic tripods I made out of Lego. Now, obviously, they were very basic and rudimentary, but obviously, to a kid's imagination, it was a tripod. Yeah.
Take care, Connor. We'll see you next time.
I used to use some little sort of girder pieces from a road sort of playset, like a garage playset. I used to use those as the V ships, the V shuttles, because they were white. Yeah. So I used to fly them around. They'd be my V shuttles. So they had interconnecting pieces. So the back was kind of hollow. So I thought, right, that's where the jets are coming out of, and the front bit is where they shoot out of. And I'd whiz those around instead of V shuttles. So that was what I did with V. But that's the thing. That's quite nice, though, I think, because it means that things like Lego, you can be creative with and make your own toys out of if someone hasn't provided a toy for you to do it with. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, there were other things. I mean, like, I know they did a die-cast spaceship, but there were things like Blake 7. You never got a figure line for Blake 7. Space 1999. There wasn't a figure series for those.
No, there probably wasn't at the time. Actually, I'm trying to think whether or not
there was just the eagle, the eagles.
I think you couldn't you get the sort of communicators and the stun guns or something similar to them?
I don't know about the peripheral merchandise, but I mean, if you like a toy figure kind of thing, or like another film, Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yes, I thought of that one actually. Yeah. And that the footage from that got reused at least a couple of times, didn't it? As well, you could have used that for a couple of other things as well, and sort of recycle those.
So I'll just tick that off.
I'm just thinking how far we could push this. Like, there were no toys at all for When the Wind Blows and Casablanca and Citizen Kane.
Star Chasing the Legend of Ori. No chance.
But the thing is, though, right? I mean, I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but see, when I was a kid, I kind of just accepted that some stuff had toys and other stuff didn't. It's like, I mean, what I wrote down here is like that. For me as a kid, it was like the toys. The toys were the main focus, and like the media or the cartoon or the film behind it was secondary. It didn't. I didn't see the cartoon thing and then think, right, I want to buy a toy. It was like, say for example with Transformers, I bought and had Transformers before I even saw the cartoon or read the comic. So from my perspective on that, I saw, they've done a cartoon of the toy line, not the other way around. Yeah. Right.
Yes, so, and the timing of that is interesting, actually, because you do wonder just how close they managed to get it,
Yeah. So, where now it's like it's very much the program. Well, I mean, it was then, but maybe it just didn't work as well then. Where now it's like, the cartoon of the film is there to sell the merchandise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I said, when I was a young kid, a lot of the toys I had them before I got any exposure to the tie-in or follow-up media, whether it be a film, cartoon, or comic,
Because Godzilla's an interesting one. Because, of course, we know someone who has rather a lot of Godzilla merchandise, but I would bet that despite the fact that I very clearly remember watching a lot of Godzilla films on Channel 4 when I was little, you could not pick up Godzilla stuff in this country that I was aware of in communal garden toy stores.
But maybe that's the thing. Maybe this conversation would be different if it was in the States, because a lot of the toys we're talking about, or films, cartoons we're talking about, are really predominantly aimed at the US market, and then they overspill over here.
Yeah.
You know, so over here we probably didn't have as quick to tie in with these things as what they did in the States. You know.
Yeah, and the licensing is an interesting one, because when I was looking at those grandstand robot toys, obviously, we got Omega Supreme effectively, which was that. Yeah. Now he was that first, was he? No.
What?
No, he was derived from something else, wasn't he? Omega, but obviously he got used as Omega Supreme by Hasbro because they had a license for certain geographical areas. But randomly, Grandstand got him for the UK, and obviously called him something related but different. Then we also had Shockwave, and I remember having a Shockwave that wasn't a Shockwave. I knew in my head he was Shockwave because I'd seen the cartoons, but of course he wasn't an official Transformers release. He was called something else. I can't remember
what's that? Shockwave.
Yeah.
No, Shockwave did get an official Hasbro release, just not here in the UK.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, sorry, I got a toy that was Shockwave, but not called Shockwave, but that was normally available.
Yeah, it'd probably be an Astro Magnum that you got.
Yes, something like that. Yeah. And I remember very clearly getting him, because I remember seeing him on the shelf and thinking, no, whatever. I didn't know what knockoffs were then. But in fairness, it wouldn't have been a knockoff. It would have been a licensed reuse of that model by the company that had the UK geographical license for him. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it depends which Shockwave you got, because there were knockoffs of Shockwave back then.
As well, right?
Yeah, as well. I mean, quite a few of the Astro Magnums were actually knockoffs. I believe it. I could be wrong here, but I'm just going from a rusty memory. But the official pre-Shockwave was, I think it was called Galactic Man. And it was like a silvery grey colour with like a clear, translucent hand.
Yeah, the colours weren't right. I remember that.
And then and I think the original Astro Magnum was, I think that licensed and sold through Tandy shops.
Okay.
But the Shockwave, the Astro Magnum that I had as a kid, that was a knockoff of a knockoff. And that was called Astro Magnum. And I got that from, there used to be a pound stretcher in Dewsbury. And that's where I got that from. Back in 86, I think it was. That still have it on the box.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, here's a few of the things that people suggested for me. Someone did mention The Last Starfighter. And he also said Gunstar.
That's the ship from The Last Starfighter.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. And someone else has said the He-Man Gigantosaur never saw the light of day. I think was that all the money in the world for it?
That was the Triceratops, wasn't it? I think it was like
like a big Brontosaurus type thing.
Diplodocus.
I'm sure they did a Triceratops as well or something, because I'm pretty sure I've seen some images of Skeletor sat on.
No, this is a long neck.
Is this a long neck, is it?
Brontosaurus. He also says that he never saw any Samurai Pizza Cat figures. Now, whether or not they did, I'm not sure.
I remember them.
And then he goes on to talk about, is it Megas or Megas?
Megas XLR.
That's the one.
Yes. I remember him on Toonami. Back in the day.
Mentions that.
It's quite funny, actually.
And he asked, does Unichonk count? Big fat Unicron.
It didn't get produced.
No. And then a more interesting one. Of course, Andy, you've got some of this. And he says, robotics. Yes, they had toys, but on the left we had big badass robots from the cartoon and comics, which is what he wanted toys of. But what we actually got was homework.
Yeah.
Build
that,
it yourself.
I
they
think
say,
I had
right?
that one.
It's fun, but
I had
there's
Astra
some
Magnum.
rule involved.
Yeah, the robotics aren't that hard to put together, in fairness to them. But yeah, I mean, you do have to follow a certain amount of instruction to get it up and running.
Yeah, but that's that one. That's the one that you had, Andy. Yeah.
Well, no, I had the one that's on that box with the sort of
A
the
lot of these
pinky,
knockoffs are very
the
valuable
pinky
to them. Certainly
tones.
are.
But that's fet
You hold that
import.
finger back up, it flashed so fast I got a headache because I couldn't see it. It wasn't a finger. Are we talking about this? It'd help if it weren't for that, wouldn't it?
It was a classic Toonami show, that one. It was basically a robot from the future that ended up going back in time, landed in a scrap heap. Random bloke fixed it up and then drove it around using a sort of like a pickup truck in America, basically. And then hilarities ensued with a lot of sort of over the top Japanese sort of chest opening mega weapons and all that sort of good stuff.
Okay. So did they do any Samurai Cats pizza whatever?
Samurai Pizza Cats.
Pizza Cats toys. Did they do it? Yes, they
Trying
did.
to cash in on the whole ninjas that eat pizza trend that was peaking at that particular point in time.
Although I'm not convinced that those are toys that would have been around at the time. I think they're a little bit more modern of those. So maybe he's right. Maybe they didn't do any back in the day.
I'd have been really surprised if they didn't, but maybe they were. I suppose sometimes they wait and see whether or not the show is going to be popular before they commit. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. I believe there are some very rare original figures from Dungeons and Dragons, but obviously we only latterly had those come out.
Yeah, I've got one in the shop.
Cool.
Yeah, they just did War Duke or something they called him. The blue.
No, I mean the original ones from the 80s. They were by LJ.
Yeah, they did back in the 80s. They did. I think they called him War Duke or something.
They were one of those. Yeah.
But I don't think they did any figures of the cartoon character.
No, they didn't. No, is that what you're meaning, Andy?
Yeah, from the cartoon.
I think they did some little PVC type.
Yeah, like figurine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think weren't they only available in? Were it France? They were only available in.
I'm not sure.
Or Spain? Was it Spain? I'm thinking Spain for some reason. But I tell you, this is a fun little guy that I picked up from an eBay auction a while ago. And again, this is one of those ones I had no idea they'd done anything with these. Do you know who he is?
Yes, you've shown us this.
Is it a snork?
No.
No idea then.
This is the sort of professor guy from Once Upon a Time Life and sort of Once Upon a Time History and Science and stuff like that. And there were cartoons really early in the morning on Channel 4. I think they were French originally, almost like French educational cartoons.
You included that in one of your videos, didn't you?
I may well have done, yeah. It's probably one of my pickup videos, But I just had no idea that existed, and I just thought I quite like that. I like the fact that it exists at all. It's totally random, And I'm like, only I remember that show clearly. It's like,
here's one. What vintage action figure line were you looking forward to, but then it fizzled out quickly?
Visionaries. I like that one.
Droids and Ewoks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
In what respect, Gap? What context does it mean that question? What vintage?
I think it means a line of figures that you quite liked at the time, but then it died.
So he didn't get a second season of cartoons, basically. So they stopped bothering. So actually, Centurions would be a good example of that.
Yes, it would.
Because the Centurions action figure line was incredibly limited, but quite popular. But there were actually more than just 3 Centurions. The series ran for quite a while. We never got the dog. We never got Crystal. I don't know if they brought any more villains into it actually, but Centurions was quite limited, and it's quite handy because it means it doesn't take you forever to collect them. I suppose there is that, but
we've just learnt something about this admin sharing.
No, it's okay. That I've ticked the box.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm speaking for you. Shut up.
Is Channel 4 the only broadcast you have? Really?
No, we didn't get that till bloody 1982.
That's new. That shiny, fresh Channel 4.
Yeah.
We got a Channel
channels.
5 in... When did we get Channel 5? About 96, 97?
Like, then we have to retune everything.
Yeah. When I was born, we had 3
Twice
channels.
we're old. Jesus.
On a black and white telly.
With push buttons.
Yes.
We have to
Yeah,
get up off our seats to change the channel.
No.
We
had a remote. Me.
I didn't. My first video recorder had a remote that had wire going to the video recorder.
Yeah.
That's how remote it was.
Yeah, we've got Freeview now, you know. There must be about 100 channels on there, and they're all shit.
Yeah. You're right.
And this is why I don't have a TV license, and I pulled out my aerial 15 years ago, and I don't have live TV. And I haven't missed it.
To be fair, though, no, actually, I will say, if you can, there are 2 programs on the TV at the moment that you are missing because you don't have live TV. And that's The Reckoning and The Long Shadow. They're both good series, and I would recommend you watch them. They are good.
I'm not familiar with that.
Is it something you think that I would actually watch if I had live TV?
I think it's something you should watch, yeah, because I think it's good. It is good. They're both good. They're both factually dramatizations. So Reckoning is about Jimmy Savile and what.
Oh right, yeah.
Right,
and then and Long
I would
Shadow.
be more interested in that if it wasn't made by the BBC.
It's not. It's made by ITV. But it's just that it's shown on BBC.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And then
work.
yeah, and then
I think that
Long
the
Shadows
BBC and ITV are a lot closer linked than people think.
Well, yeah, because it's a few years ago now. The BBC stopped or drastically cut down on the stuff that they produce and make. So they basically subcontract out. So a lot of the programming is made by other people and then sold to the BBC. But that other one, The Long Shadow, that's an ITV. You can watch that on ITVX player, and I don't think you need a license for that one. And it's that's about Yorkshire Ripper.
Right. Okay. I already watched something about that on Netflix a few years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
But they're both good. They're both. I would recommend them both.
Okay.
Cap's got a good. That's an interesting one.
What is the most controversial action figure ever made? For example, Austin Powers was too horny to be sold in Toys R Us.
I don't know. We got the Austin Powers
over here in Toys R Us.
Yeah, for the Spy Who Shagged Me, wasn't it?
Yeah, the McFarlane figures, McFarlane Toys figures.
Yeah, and they had the little voice box thing.
That's right. Yeah. We had them in our Toys R Us over here.
Yeah, we did.
But the Americans can be quite. Even different states in America will probably have different rules and that sort of thing, I dare say.
You're very touchy over there, aren't you, Gap? Speaking of touchy, a Tarzan toy looked like he was pleasuring himself.
I feel we're wandering into dangerous territory there, so we probably ought to be careful.
I recently sold the Toy Biz transforming Punisher action figure. It's Punisher that transforms into a gun, but mid-transformation, the barrel of the gun sticks out from between his legs with a big neon red end.
Interesting. I'm trying to think.
Talking controversial toys, there's a teddy bear toy that used to appear on Marmalade.
Oh, Robertson's Jam, the golly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah.
I had one of them as a kid.
Yeah, well, the cool thing is it would go straight past the kid, wouldn't it? The kids wouldn't care.
Well, I don't...
I've recently just sold one of those, and that is exactly how I displayed it in the shop as well.
Someone did not think, or they did think and wondered if they could get away with it. One of the two.
What makes me laugh though is there's a big deal about that toy having been banned and recalled because of that, but they released it twice. They released it in black and they released it in blue.
And then the second time, it was 3 times the price it was originally. Yeah,
probably, yeah.
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
Had a finger toy that looked like a.
Well, it's one of the reasons, for example, I've never bothered picking up any of the Aliens toys because they've obviously massively watered them down to make them look like toys. So you wouldn't get a sort of a chest burster as a toy. But then they use that in Ready Player One. So it's like people have clearly moved on from that concept being scary. So, nowadays you probably could get away with releasing that as a toy because the kids just laugh at it. It was kind of, because when that first came out, that was properly scary.
When she bursts out of the thing and she's like that. She uses it to cut. Yeah, Artemis. That's it, Artemis. I love that film. That's a great film.
Still only seen it the once.
Well, I'm glad that it was changed slightly from the book, and if they do make a sequel, I hope they don't use the second book to make the sequel.
I've not read the book. I must admit, actually, because
Have you read
the book was. I need to get them.
Yeah,
I was doing Captain America all the way through. I said, I got that reference. In fact, the Kroll glaive is in it. I went, it's the glaive, like a nutter. Someone was like, look at me, going, what are you about that?
Yeah, the second book goes current day. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no. But see, that's the controversial thing. There's another film that I like as well that I don't think a lot of people like, and that's Pixels.
Oh yes, I'm aware of Pixels. My son likes it actually. I quite liked it.
I like it.
All right.
I like it.
It's all right.
But anyway, so now are we done with the toy thing, or are we?
I don't know. Can we think of anything else?
Well, I was actually going to do a sort of a reversal on it, if I can do for show and tell purposes.
Go for it.
So this is a kind of things that have had toys made of them, which you probably wouldn't have thought would have had toys made of them. So, by way of example,
yeah,
Captain Nathan Bridger of Sequest DSV.
Gonna need a bigger sub.
So it's like, I mean, there was so much. There were shed loads of stuff that you could have done for that, but I think that is the extent of the toy line. Is those figures, which include Darwin the dolphin.
It's something I've never watched.
Huh?
No, I mean for the time, it was banging.
Really good.
It was Star Trek underwater, kind of.
Right.
And it had Mark Hamill in it at one point as well. But anyway, I digress. Also featuring Michael Ironside in its 3rd season.
Right.
So random, but it was. I know of it because I was an Amiga boy, and the Amigas were used to render Sequest and the CGI underwater at the time, initially at least. So that's why it's a thing for me, because it was like Lightwave and all that good stuff back in the day. Yeah. So that was one thing that I did not ever expect to see a toy for. Because again, it's not really massively aimed at kids, but that is contemporaneous with when the series was out, and they're dirt cheap as well. No one's collecting those; they're really cheap. I got this now. This is actually after the event, of course. I don't know if there are Tron toys at the time.
I don't think there were. I think it might have been.
Interesting. So that does.
I don't think there was. I don't think it was like Black Hole, because Black Hole did have toys at the same time.
Yes, it did, didn't it? Yeah. So, but this is NECA actually. It looks like this is a NECA thing, but presumably they did like that as a retro thing. Yeah, because it says this is the 20th anniversary collector's edition, so it's definitely not, not sort of of the day. Got this.
All right. I didn't know.
To be fair, they did come out long after the fact.
You're cheating now. You're cheating.
That's a reaction one, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah. But this is just the inverse. But that's interesting, though, isn't it? Because that means then, from your reaction, that means that Firefly did not get toys at the time it was active.
No, it didn't. No.
Well, there you go then. Okay, that's interesting. That's a proof of concept there then.
They have some awesome black hole figures with die cuts of the characters for back. Yes. Yeah. Babylon 5, yeah. Babylon 5 had shed loads of toys. Shed loads.
No, it had a lot of very random action figures and these, and that was it.
No, there were loads. They did 9-inch figures. They did
dolls.
Yeah, they did the Star Trek sized figures. There was all of your micro machines.
They're actually bigger than Star Trek sized figures. Bigger than the Playmates ones anyway.
Right. Okay. Well, you know that they did them then.
Oh yeah. No, that's true. That's true. Actually, yes. But as I say, that is the. I'm just indicating that these do exist and they did come out at the time. So I'd say that's the inverse. But I wouldn't have. They never did any like really big ships or anything like that. It was only the micro machines range that came out. And for some reason, then you get stuff like this, like Star Trek 5 got toys. Like everyone wants to forget that film. No one wants it immortalized. And this Bird of Prey is actually not a bad Bird of Prey model. So I've got one not on a card. It's actually quite decent. I never got it at the time because I always thought at the time it was too green, but actually it's not that bad. In fairness.
I'm just having a look here that I think some limited Tron figures did actually come out at the same time as the film.
I'd be surprised if they didn't, with it being sort of Disney.
Yeah, the one that Andy just showed us is a reproduction of those original figures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I can't seem to find a year for them.
And now Gareth might even remember this series.
Yes. Yeah. Xena.
And all that good stuff. I liked it because it had Shakrams and mythical things in it, and Lucy Lawless, obviously. But and then she turned up in Battlestar Galactica. I mean, I was like, that was strange world.
It is a strange one to do toys of, though, isn't it?
Well, but is it though? I mean, it is. I mean, you can't get much more actiony than Xena, in fairness. So as action figures go, I think that's pretty justified, really.
They did do some of Hercules as well.
Well, they did some of Andromeda as well, which was Sorbo.
Did they?
I've seen figures of him. Yeah, but again, it's only from wandering around shops like your good selves. It's like if I didn't wander around places, I wouldn't spot this stuff. But it's fascinating because all of the shops like yours have slightly different focuses in terms of their timeline. So I think I picked Xena up from Blackpool. Because they sort of do they don't go as far back as the 80s, but they're sort of early 90s. So that kind of came in their slot. So it's just,
it's absolutely spot on here. If you haven't already found Figure Realm, Figure Realm is amazing. But look at the options that it gives you and go for the checklists. And it shows you every figure that has ever been out. It's a fantastic website.
That's cool.
It really is. What are you measuring?
Gap mentioned that he had a 9-inch Garibaldi, and it's like, that's a big biscuit. That is a very big biscuit.
I can run and show you how big the Babylon 5 figures are if you want to have a quick look.
They're 9 inches.
Yeah, why not? Go on.
No, mine isn't. Mine's not that.
Oh, bless him.
Andy's going his 9-inch out on the live stream.
I might as well leave it on the big screen for Andy, since he's got something to show us, even though he's not there at present.
He's showing us his full 9-inch.
He is. So look away, viewers.
It's something to entice the ladies to have a look. There.
I've got this one carded as well, but happily I also have one floating around loose. So that's Sheridan,
right?
And that's the Playmates Jean-Luc Picard. And as you can see, it's quite significant if they're toe to toe there. So it's significantly bigger than Jean-Luc there. Let's see.
Is it 6?
So that's 6 inches.
6 inches.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Pirates of Darkwater.
There, very good.
Anyone that think I work in toys?
One of my favourite pretend swear words I borrowed from that series. Neugetat. Which is basically... Oh. But I could say that at school without getting detention, you see. So it was always a nice one to be able to use, because I knew what it meant.
Neugetat. I don't give a frack.
Yep. All that sort of good stuff.
Speaking of not giving a frack, what did we all think of the latest Ahsoka then? We've been able to see the whole series now, and we can judge it as a whole.
I think it's the first part of possibly 3. I think they're doing beginning, middle, and end, and I think that was beginning, is my feeling.
Okay. Yeah. Ahsoka sucks. Straight in there. Ahsoka sucks.
Tell us what you really think, Gap. What one of the things that made me laugh in the
finale was bollocks.
The thing that made me laugh in that finale was when they're she's doing sort of draw them to us bit, and you get this one pose where she's like sort of, I've got my lightsabers, and it's like that's such a pose shot. There's no justification for her sort of lingering in this sort of pose like that for so long. If you look at it again, it's just after they knocked them down for the first time, and she's just like still there, and it's sort of like, no, that's just a pose shot. It's like a superhero landing, but not with lightsabers. It's kind of...
Gap, you've just made me realise that they aired it at the wrong time.
What would be the right time?
Well, no, the fact that it's got witches in it, it's got zombies in it, and it's finished weeks before Halloween.
There's a house down my street that thinks it's Halloween already, so that's actually...
Oh, right. Yeah, I was far from impressed. I was incredibly underwhelmed with the series as a whole. I thought it had a good couple of episodes in the middle, but it ended the way it started, badly.
I think it's very, very dependent as well on you having watched A, Clone Wars, and B, Rebels. Which you might
I've seen it all, and I didn't care for it.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I knew enough to know the significance of people in it. Maybe wasn't quite as glued to Rebels as I knew Clone Wars, perhaps a bit more.
Right.
Because Rebels was a very slow start. Rebels seemed like a very, very light cartoon when it started. But then I realised that at some point the toy companies stopped caring. They managed to start actually introducing a story to it, which I thought was well played on their part. I don't need a lightsaber. The next episode has a lightsaber. Whether the fact that you get the kyber crystal. Well, every good 25,000-year-old droid has a few kyber crystals tucked away in his unmentionable somewhere. It's fine. Maybe his unmentionable are kyber crystals. Who knows? Something's worked out at him for that long.
He's right, though. You've got Ezra. He gets offered his old lightsaber back by Sabine. And he says to her, no, I don't need it. I'm quite all right. I don't need a weapon. Uses a few force pushes and kicks to knock some stormtroopers down, then picks up a gun. So he did use a weapon.
On a point of order, when battling undead, darkly coloured stormtroopers on a very, very tall pointed bit of rock, why not just force push them off the tall pointed bit of rock?
Yeah, exactly. There was so much wrong with that episode. So much wrong with it.
Oh dear.
Very, very disappointed. We've already seen Ahsoka and what's her name? Morgan Elsbeth go toe to toe. When they had a duel in The Mandalorian.
They did.
And fair enough, Ahsoka won, but Elsbeth managed to hold her own against her. Now she's been imbued with super witchy powers, so she's a lot stronger. Still lost. And quickly. What was the point of that?
She didn't lose that quickly. She did take out one of the lightsabers. It wasn't that ridiculous, actually. I actually felt the ending of it was quite satisfying. I did get a bit of, I can see it coming, I can see it coming. Yes, there we are. But which was kind of inevitable, I know. But at the end of the day, you would expect a well-trained Jedi, effectively master, to be able to take someone on who's only wielding one mystically imbued sword without use of the Force.
To be fair, she only had Anakin as her master for about 2 years, and then she left the Jedi Order.
And how much acting did she do during the Clone Wars? I mean, she's reasonably battle hardened. She's been trained to take down and defend herself from an entire squad of clone troopers. So maybe
they didn't have enough battery power for the Force push.
Boys. Force push.
The ship is damaged. Let's not just orbit and bombard them. Let's send ground troops. Yeah, that were another thing. And following on from Thrawn, he's so badly written in this. So badly written. I will not underestimate the Jedi. I've seen Imperial officers underestimate Jedi. I once underestimated the Jedi. I will not underestimate them again. The Jedi are coming, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Oh, send 2 TIE fighters. 2? Of those 50 or 60 you've got in your hangar, you're going to send 2? That's called underestimating the Jedi.
Well, he was obviously trying to conserve his troops, but what for when he was about to go back and get a lot more troops? Why do they need all of the little bits of
Ed's
cargo?
enjoying himself.
Yeah. Why do they need every single last container to get on board before they leg it?
Those containers, it hasn't said, but I'm fairly sure that they are bodies. And I think that they are Dathomir, no, not Dathomir, but I believe that they are Great Mothers or whatever laying in stasis. And they're going to be repopulating Dathomir with them. But thank you for telling us that in this particular episode, or this series, because they didn't.
It's a mystery, isn't it? It's a mystery.
It was rubbish.
I think Ed's just distancing himself from this whole conversation.
He is. No, I think what it is, he's enjoying watching me tear it a new hole. Because it's normally the other way around. She left Anakin to go work at the BP gas station. Yes, he's a tactical genius. He's Thrawn. Yeah, definitely. At least he is in the books. Have you started reading them yet, Benjamin?
He's a genius to getting every other bugger killed while he zips off in his shiny new ride. That's what he is.
Hello, Jumpy. Jumpy's here.
Jumpy's here.
Jumpy McClunky's here.
All I'll say on the subject is, I mean, I was going to elect not to speak about it tonight because I didn't want to waste the viewers' time. And I didn't want to diminish my IQ level by talking about it. But the characters in it are only as smart as what the writers are writing it.
That's right, yeah.
And the writers that are writing these characters are not very smart, and I would say that for people that think that Filoni is the answer to Star Wars, I think that this series has shown us that maybe he is not what people think he is. Or if he is, then maybe there is somebody above him that is telling him how to do it or how to do his job. But no, my general overview is it had some interesting pieces in it, but other than that, no. It's just it's just content. It's just another piece of content to fill a streaming service, and that's it. There doesn't seem to be any thought behind it. any reasoning behind it. So yeah, I mean, the thing was, I actually, for the first time ever, I recorded myself while I was watching it, and I spoke to camera while I was watching it. And the reason
called a reaction.
The reaction. That was the only time I've ever done that, and I will never do it again. But the reason why I did it was because I was just absolutely flabbergasted that it's like what we got with the Transformers movies. I was just so flabbergasted that you can have such a plethora of information and backstory and wealth of knowledge of characters and yet still screw it up so massively. You know, and just to address Gareth's point about Thrawn, I know nothing of Thrawn, but if the Thrawn in Ahsoka is anything like Thrawn in the books, which I highly doubt, then he's a fucking idiot. Well and truly, you know, there's nothing about the character that makes me think I'd be afraid of you. I would not be afraid of someone like that. I just think, God, you're so incompetent. But anyway,
he did win. He achieved his objective. In fairness to him, so
he won because the writers wanted him to win. Yeah.
Well, there's always plot armor, but it's unusual for the villain to have plot armor, so that's slightly different.
Because what it is, it's a very lazy attempt to try and replicate Empire Strikes Back.
See what you mean?
Yeah. It's the dark episode, but at this moment in time,
was it dark?
It's what? No, I mean the theme of basically the heroes,
isn't it?
Yes, it's the theme of the heroes appearing not to win, you know. But it's like it's crap. It's absolutely crap.
I do wonder to what extent being under the Disney umbrella is fettering them. Whether or not there's input coming from Disney execs to say you've got to tone it down, or you know.
But tone what down? There's nothing to tone.
To be fair, I don't think there's anything in the Thrawn trilogy, the original novels, that is particularly unsuitable for any audience.
No, I think
maybe some of it's not suitable for stupid people.
Well, it's just it's the levels of mysticism and sort of fairy tale-ness to it. I don't know.
No, I think stupid people would probably enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, because it's just content.
How many people watching might think he's talking about us because we liked that.
Who's that? Sorry.
I'm just saying, how many people watching are thinking he means us because we watched that and we enjoyed it, so he thinks we're stupid.
Don't give a bloody monkeys. Listen, if you enjoy it, I'm happy for you. Great, you know, God be with you, and you know, crack on. But you know, If you think if you think that's the height of Star Wars entertainment, then I don't think there's much hope for you.
No, I didn't like it at all.
It's a shame. There could have been so much more done with it, but like I said, you're like, well, yeah. I'll just say, like I said earlier, your characters and your storyline is only as intelligent as with people that's writing it, and you know, it's
Am I right in thinking that when constructing your own lightsaber, you're actually supposed to use the Force rather than the welding torch?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's some parts you're going to have to, you know, fix together. But I suppose
the whole point of building your own lightsaber is you go and get your own crystal. It's one that resonates with you, so you get your own crystal.
Yeah.
Obviously, everything else is manufactured. But I did find it quite strange that the whole, in the amount of places that a lightsaber could be built, that droid, Hu Yang, is not the only one that would have ever built a lightsaber with people, with Jedi younglings or apprentices or whatever. But for there to be two emitters in the galaxy, be the same, Kanan got one of them, and his apprentice, who is fortunate enough not just in a galaxy, but in another bloody galaxy, to come across the guy who's got that other one to meet him.
Yeah, I just happened to get this for you just in case.
It was like, hang on, isn't this Harry Potter all over again?
But the thing is, right? The thing is, again, it's this spoon-fed idiocy. It's like, so we've got to take from that then that this whatever they call him, Hu Yang, had the foresight during Order 66 to say, right, okay, I'll take that. Just hang on, I just need to go back and get this and put it on that specific ship at a specific time. You know, it's like, when did Hu Yang meet up with Ahsoka? When did they hook up? You know, when did they start traveling together? You know, where did they go and pick his stuff up from?
Well, you've seen Solo. There might not just be Jedi Master and droid. They may actually be lovers.
Yeah. It's just, like I say, it's just... Yeah, it's just... No, it's just... Yeah, it's just idiot. It's just idiocy, you know. And the whole ending with Ezra, it's like, well, you know, it just turns up dressed as a stormtrooper. Seriously? It's like, no, get in the fucking sea, will you? It's just like, no. You see, look, you're drawing me in. I don't want to talk about this shit. You're drawing me in. It's just
not only that, but someone who hasn't been in the entire galaxy for 15 years, manages with no difficulty whatsoever to find New Republic HQ,
on a ship,
and go and fly straight in without any codes, you know, to get in through the barriers or anything.
He was escorted in by a pair of aliens,
straight in, and gets off the ship, still wearing his stormtrooper armor. And didn't take the helmet off, so he weren't going to get shot.
Yeah, just hang on a second.
But Chopper can tell it's him. He must walk a funny way or something.
Yeah, I don't know what this is going to do. Just hang on.
Chopper's got scanners.
Right, it's Wednesday morning. I'm going to go slow day today because I just can't be asked. So I'm sat with my breakfast watching Ahsoka, and it's the final episode, and we're 6 minutes in, and it's just like, get on with it. It's just so slow. Everyone talks slow, everyone moving slow. And then we've got this thing where now Morgan is being given these powers, which is obviously so she can have the big girl boss battle with Ahsoka at the end of the episode. It's just like, oh, come on, you know, it's just...
Yeah, that's enough of that. Fortunately, I didn't do. I did the full episode, but I kept pausing it, so I think the whole video runs about 10 minutes, and it's literally just my eyeballs rolling and rolling and rolling.
Apparently, Loki was good.
Yeah, Loki was very Loki. I need to rewatch the first season because it feels like forever since it was on.
I didn't like even the first season. I thought that was crap.
No,
everyone was going on about how great it was, and I thought, it's nice to watch him because he is entertaining in the role, but everything that's happening around him and the reasons, in fact, was there a reason? But the show,
it's like Ahsoka. It's like the Ahsoka series. Loki series wasn't about Loki; it was about her, and Ahsoka is about Sabine. Yeah.
Yeah, Ahsoka had one episode that was about her.
Yeah.
And that episode made no sense whatsoever. Yeah. It was just a reason to explain why she'd been a miserable bitch for the first few episodes and why she's now allowed to smile.
Yeah.
And then all I wanted to do was wipe that smile off her face.
It's all about the journey, okay?
No.
Ezra wearing dead people is very creepy. Hello there, Logan. Well, he wasn't wearing dead people. He was wearing their suit.
No, I think he may be referring to, apparently his chainmail is made out of stormtrooper dog tags. Apparently,
Right. Okay. Have we actually heard anything official about that yet?
I have
or is
not.
it just a load of people that have seen
I'm
the
going by
picture
YouTube video titles and shorts that I've watched, but yeah.
Oh, so what? Stormtroopers have dog tags, do they? You know, it's amazing.
The armor, you never see them.
Yeah, it's amazing. This galaxy far, far away, a long, long time ago, has a lot of similarities with ours.
Yeah. Hashtag not my Ahsoka.
Well, to be fair, I mean, the thing about Ahsoka, I don't particularly care for the character.
No, she's overrated.
I mean, yeah, you have to understand the context. I'm going to say it's a made-up character. I know they're all made-up characters, but she's a made-up character that's been injected into a timeline where she wasn't meant to ever exist. You know, because, I mean, I never saw the point or reasoning that the Jedi Council would ever give someone like Anakin a Padawan. Not when they've got reservations about him, not when they know what he's like. It just wouldn't make any sense to foist him with a Padawan. They'd be like, well, you know, he can barely look after himself. He's constantly getting himself into danger and he's very reckless. Oh, I know. Let's give him the responsibility of someone else. It just don't gel with me. It's like the Maul thing as well. Resurrecting Maul from the dead. It's like, no, he died. He got chopped in half, which I know, modern Disney, it's just a mere inconvenience because everybody can get stabbed these days and survive.
That reminds me, actually, just why I think on it. My son has just binged Ahsoka, so I was in the room at various points during the course of it, and I did notice that, in fairness, when she's stabbed by Darth Apprentice, whatever her name is, she isn't stabbed in the center line of her body; it's to one side.
Yeah, it's there.
So I actually allowed that in the sense that she probably didn't hit anything vital. Whereas when Qui-Gon got stabbed, it was
goes straight
center
to her liver and kidneys.
Yeah,
but you can regenerate some of those, and you have a spare one of the other ones. So
it would kill her. It would kill her. And the thing about it is,
if far away.
If you go back and watch the episode, when it shows you a stab from the front, it's they change the position. So when it's at the back, it's different. From the front, it goes centrally, and then when he shows it from the back, it's at a jaunty angle off to the. Regardless, yeah.
So the lightsaber goes in and then it bends.
Yeah, it's like a magic bullet that did Kennedy. It's the Kennedy lightsaber. No, it's basically it's a hot plasma weapon. Yeah.
So someone did do a video about this, explaining how hot a lightsaber burns.
Yeah. It would boil her
the equivalent of a sun lighting up inside your body.
Yeah.
So you're talking thousands upon thousands of degrees. It would just burn you and boil you from the inside out.
Well, to be fair, it would. Her insides would explode.
Yeah,
because the heat of the plasma would basically evaporate all the moisture into gas, and it'd just blow. It'd just blow out. So it's just crap. It's like I say, it's plot contrivance, it's plot armor, and it's just.
Did she have one in her back pocket? Back to tanks are good. Did she have a back to tank in her back pocket? Qui-Gon calls bullshit. Yes, I've seen those videos. They're quite good.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe Ahsoka force healed her a little bit, because that's the thing, isn't it?
No. No. Maybe for the sequel it is, but not for
exactly.
Not for the old guard. It's not.
Force healing has existed long before the sequels. It did exist in the expanded universe before.
Well, let's play comic book guy here, but that's not canon, is it?
Not now, it's not. No, but it is again now.
It wasn't then really either.
Yeah. Well,
it was canon to the fans, but not. I mean, I think that's the thing. I mean, just if you try to just stick to what's in the movies, then what you see in the TV shows and then the sequels just doesn't gel with the original movies. But anyway.
My watch is playing up.
It's telling the time, just not necessarily in the right order.
No, it's not. It's got different screens, and it's decided to put one up that I don't want. There we go. It's now giving me back the one that I do want.
Excellent.
It's funny that my watch just has hands on it, that tell the
technology, and that's irritating me as well. My zip on my hoodie is rubbing against the shelf of the desk.
Do you want to see what arrived in the post today?
Oh, you've got something else. Okay, hang on then.
It's a little teeny tiny enterprise.
Which one's that? Is that the Corgi one?
That's the Corgi one.
Rathakan one.
And it's got nacelles and everything, which is deeply unusual. I had to get this from America.
Itty Bitty Enterprise. There was one at Vectis last week.
Was it?
Sealed on the card with the bird of prey.
Yes, it's the miniature.
On D7, sir, don't you? Not the bird.
Is it a D7? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But interesting.
Yeah, I'm going by a thumbnail picture.
But it still looks nothing like it anyway. But the interesting thing about this was that when I looked at a carded example of this, it doesn't say the Wrath of Khan, it says the Vengeance of Khan.
Ah.
So I assumed that at some point it was going to be called that, but someone didn't tell Corgi about the name change.
Right.
But I've yet to actually read up about what the backstory to that was. But I was surprised to see that, because it didn't trigger any sort of memories of things that I'd heard of before,
The nacelle length is causing issues.
It is. It's completely bonkers, basically. The Dinky one is actually better than that.
Right.
So, because Dinky did one that's a similar size to this with a stand as well.
Right.
Actually, no, sorry, no. Dinky one didn't have a stand. I correct myself. But yeah, that's so stunted. I can only assume they've done that to fit it into a bobble or something. I don't know. It could be as daft as that. I've no idea.
Which came first, the packaging or the toy? It's like,
Yeah.
right, we've got packaging. We need to make a toy to fit the package.
Isn't it strange that they didn't like using revenge in the title of sci-fi films back then? They just kept changing them.
Yeah, Revenge of the Jedi.
Maybe it's too violent. I don't know.
Or maybe it's not a concept that the Jedi would align themselves with.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, actually. Yeah, I think that actually. No, I think that's a good shout.
I think you've probably already seen the latest addition to my collection. Did you see last night's episode?
You got another Daleki Waleki. Flip. Is it the bright yellow one?
Just about see it.
Yeah.
Right next to Cosmic Toyman. It's there.
It's there. That way.
Oh.
No, I was pointing in the opposite direction. Oh, hello.
Ed's made you big.
It's the wrong one. I've made the wrong one big.
It's the wrong window grommet.
There we go.
Oh,
what the hell is that?
Oh,
That's a TikTok video. Where have you gone?
Right, just show your bloody thing. Show your Dalek.
I've got a yellow Dalek.
Yellow Dalek.
It's bright yellow because it's filled with pus and bile. Ugh. I don't know why, but I absolutely love this colour. What have you done, Ed? There we go.
You're giving him the car key. That was unwise, clearly.
Now, I'm curious about these because they're all yellow, and obviously you'd think it goes with the yellow one. But the box tells a different story. Or is it the box or is it the pictures that I found on Google? Either the box or the pictures I found on Google tell a different story. It was the pictures I found on Google. The box shows both the red and the black with
black
and
stuff.
Yellow with black appendages. And it does so on the playing pictures as well.
You see that a lot, though. I've seen quite a few things like that where the colours have gotten in. It depends where they're being manufactured a lot of the time.
If you look online, then you find that the red Dalek came with yellow appendages, and the yellow Dalek came with red appendages.
Brilliant.
So I don't know if it's one of those things that it was just throw a set of appendages in the box at the factory, and it don't matter what colour it is, so you're getting them all mixed and matched when you buy them. It was the 70s. Or whether or not it's got the wrong ones. But I don't mind.
Do you know what that was actually used for? Well, the Daleks once had a face-off with the Green Lantern Corps, and they were having problems. So they decided if they painted themselves yellow, they'd be sorted.
The funny thing is, as well, back then they were made out of wood as well.
What I like about that one is the dome. The dome looks like an upside down wash basket. You know those round wash baskets.
It does,
It's a shuttlecock.
Yeah.
No, it is nice. I mean, I must admit, I do like that. That is nice.
Thing is, though, it's really, really annoying because now I want a beta one of these because I want to paint it to have black spots.
It's one of those things. It's one of those pieces where it's like there's just something because of its vintage and its age and the way that it's designed. It's just like that's nice. Is that?
Yeah, it's completely inaccurate. But it's got a charm all of its own. Yeah. I love it. I've just realised I made a mistake with that episode as well.
Oh, I've done that a lot. I realised I called the ship from Crusade last night rather than the Excalibur.
Yeah, well, it's not really a mistake, but it's something that, with hindsight, I could have used better lines. When showing this, I do some Dalek voiceover from one of the episodes. But if I'd have picked a different episode, it would have been where they actually used these toys in a wide shot from the episode.
Nice.
So that would have been better.
Right. That would be a deep cut, as they say. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Well, if we're showing stuff we've got recently, I might as well show you what I've got recently.
Bring it.
We're not doing sex toys, Ed.
That's fine because I haven't got any. I'm a good Catholic lad. I don't go in for that kind of thing.
Catholic lad, but not good.
I'm very good. I'm very, very good. Right, put me on through. Here we go. No, that's you. That's
there
me.
You are.
Right then, are we going to do them in? I'm not doing them in any particular order. I'll just do them but they all came in over that. I'd say over the past 2-3 weeks, these came in. So we have the latest edition of Crash Micro magazine, which has got some lovely artwork by Oliver Frey on the front. And this one is Frankie Goes to Hollywood, which there was a Frankie Goes to Hollywood game for a certain microcomputer of the 80s that we won't mention. So that's that.
The whole range of colours.
The plethora of colours. That's my word for the evening. Plethora.
Yes, I noticed you got that in there. Yes.
Yes. Right then. The next item is another book, and it's the book of the game of the film. So these are all the movie and cartoon and film tie-in games that came on certain microcomputers from the 80s that we won't mention.
So is Krull in there?
I don't know because I have not read it yet. But let me look in the index and see. Oh, bloody! Let me put my reading on.
I imagine you'd get Ghostbusters, Batman, probably.
I feel like Kirk. I feel like Kirk having to put my glasses on.
Right, Gap's now barred. That's it.
No. This is an old comment. I've just gone and searched it out.
Right, Krull, you said. Krull, let's have a look. K. Actually, I better not say KK too often, should I?
Well, Kathleen Kennedy might turn up.
Yeah. No, Krull is not in here, but I don't think it would be in here because, like I said, these tend to sort of like be centered around a certain microcomputer that we won't mention from the 80s. Right, okay. The next one is, it's another book, and this is ZX Nightmares. And these are games that were brought out for a certain microcomputer that came out in the 80s that we won't mention. And it's games that were particularly hard or you couldn't complete them for certain reasons. And I like the little bookmark tags.
Oh.
You know, there's
That
a
is
nice,
quite cool.
a nice plethora of colours there: red, yellow, green, and blue. That's that. Then there is the history of Ocean Games.
Ah.
So Ocean Games were a very big software producer during the 80s and 90s. I think
RoboCod.
they did RoboCop. Yes, they did. And Batman.
Oh, sorry, RoboCod.
Yeah,
James Pond RoboCod.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That might be too late, actually.
Any
I don't think it's them.
any big movie during the 80s, Ocean produced the tie-in game for. And
They
they
did
were
Batman, didn't they?
The what? Sorry.
Did they do Batman?
Yep. Yes, they did Batman. Yeah. You see, back in the 80s, the Ocean had this really good thing because it was before the days of mass marketing tie-in games and things like that.
Yeah.
They were able to license the rights for effectively peanuts. And games like RoboCop and Batman, the software designers from Ocean were actually on set while they were making the film.
Awesome.
So that's why a lot of the
games
are very, very similar to stages or things that happen in the film. So,
oh yeah, I mean the on the Amiga, the Batman game was absolutely bob on. It was brilliant. I loved that game.
What's this say? Can you mention the microcomputer you can mention, and then it will be clear due to the process of elimination? I'll give you a hint.
Captain Scarlet was a member of it.
And then, second to last one is Crash Legacy book, and this is a book that it's in a nice case, nice slip case and hardback, and it's basically this book is it's highlighting all the artwork that was used for Crash magazine through the 80s.
Right.
So it reproduces all the cover artwork.
Max Headroom.
And this again,
right then.
And this again has the red, green, yellow, and blue tags at the bottom. And then the last one, this is like you'll be happy to know is the last one. This came in to me on Monday. I've not read it yet, but I will be making some notes about it when I have read it. And that's the first issue
on Facebook, kids. Yeah.
Of Skybound's Transformers. Which, so I'll probably be reading that tomorrow, and then I'll offer some insight into what I think about it at that point.
And is this going to be a complete? Did I read somewhere it was going to be like a complete reboot of their origins on Earth and so on?
It is, yeah. It's a reboot.
So it doesn't continue on from the original G1 stuff.
Nope.
Oh, right, okay.
Nope, it's reboot. It's basically starting from scratch again. So I've had a quick thumb through it, and like I said on my social media posts about it, the artwork is nice for the robots. I'm not overly particularly keen on the style that they've used for the human characters. It does have a bit of a 80s Marvel UK vibe to it, bit of a feel with regards to the artwork style, but there's a mishmash of it, because there's a lot of inspiration. There's like cues from the cartoon, a bit of Dreamwave in there, there's a bit of IDW, so it's quite a bit of a mishmash of art style that's gone into it. The main thing that surprised me about it was, I'll just take it out. I mean, you can't tell because you don't have, because it's on video, but it's the paper that they've used for the comic. It's not smooth and glossy. It feels like recycled paper.
Most of Image comics are like that.
It feels quite rough and pulpy. It's not, like it's not a like the IDW comics or the Dreamwave. It doesn't feel glossy.
Not shiny.
No, it feels cheap. It feels cheap paper, rough, pulpy kind of thing. But I'll just see if you can get. That's kind of like the.
Gold sky/jet fire there.
Yeah. So it's
Interesting.
so yeah, that came into me Monday from well, you may have heard of them, Cosmic Toys. That came from.
Oh, a very reputable toy and comic.
I don't know. I mean,
You.
it could be reputable. I've heard a few horror stories from there. Mainly centered around the owner. No, it's he's a bastard. No, so
that's one thing I'm not actually.
No, he's a sarcastic cunt.
Yes.
So thanks to Gareth, that came from Cosmic Toys. Did that. But yeah, so yeah, that's my recent arrivals. All reading
Actually, no,
materials.
there's one other.
This what?
There's one other.
But technically,
it was belated, but
yeah, that's downstairs. Is that? Yeah. But I got a late birthday present, and it was the Tron Legacy soundtrack on vinyl.
Oh, on vinyl. I love that soundtrack. I've played that a lot. Yeah,
Daft Punk is awesome.
The thing about it is, where are we now? Where are we? It is here somewhere.
I can't remember.
That shine off his head.
I have it on CD, but the vinyl is a different track listing. And there's
an extended version of it on Spotify as well.
Yeah, there's different tracks. There's tracks that aren't on the CD which are on the vinyl. I've listened to side one of record one. But yeah, I like Daft Punk anyway, so it's a bit of a no-brainer really. So yeah, so that was but yeah, like I said, with it being a birthday gift, it technically doesn't qualify as a new arrival that I brought in, kind of thing.
Well, no, I suppose not. But I didn't think you were limiting it to just what you bought yourself.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah.
I did toy with the idea of getting you the soundtrack for Tron, but then I thought that's just playing into his nostalgia thing. Daft Punk better.
I mean, I did get.
I thought there's more chance of you actually listening to the Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Whereas the Tron soundtrack, you'd be like, yes, that's nice. I'll pop it on the shelf with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Have you seen the die-cast Tron Legacy toys that they did?
Yeah,
I quite like those.
Oh, I was just about to say the name of the company then that produced them. Yeah, because I was looking at. I had in the back of my mind, I had a thought about trying to pick up some Tron Legacy figures.
I do have the old figure as well, actually, and again that was a completely random pickup. I didn't really realize that they'd done figures as well.
Yeah, there's two. They've done like bigger ones and little ones.
Yeah. There's definitely a range available. I've got a clue, I think, upstairs somewhere.
But I think looking at them online, I couldn't really appreciate how good they'd be, so I kind of stayed away from them. I think it's the kind of thing I probably want to have one in hand to see what they're like before I thought, right, okay, I think I'll pick a couple up.
Gareth did have some.
Right.
On his carousel upstairs, as I recall.
I mean, is it the McFarlane? Is it McFarlane that do the... No, not McFarlane. Is it NECA that do the 6-inch Tron figures? From the original film.
Diamond Select.
Is it Diamond Select?
Oh, well, the one that I showed you is NECA.
Right.
But,
yeah. Those die-cast models that Andy's talking about are by Spin Master.
That's it, Spin Master.
Spin Master, okay. Because you've got figures as well, haven't you, Gareth, as well, now I think about it, from the original, yeah.
Yeah, well, you see, Spin Master got the license to produce all the toys. I mean, my son, he has one of them, the light glider, the one-person light glider.
Yeah.
I think I put some photos of that up on Instagram a few weeks ago. It's a nice toy, but the figure that comes with it only articulates at the arms. It doesn't have any other articulation.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Some of them did come with little... Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So it's it's that kind of thing where it'd be nice, but I'm not sure which, because some of them also have like it's not a holographic, but it's like an LED feature, so the face shows up behind the mask.
Oh, okay.
It lights up, so you see the face behind the mask.
Literally just little die-cast vehicles that I'd come across until I saw some other stuff in Gareth's.
I did get it's oh god, when will it be now? It might have been for my 40th. So that would have been So I think it was for my 40th birthday, which is so long ago now. I got a watch from Japan from a company called Tokyo Flash, and it's a Tron watch. And it's like, and I've only ever worn it once because it's like I don't want to break it, and it looks too nice. And it basically it lights up. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. But it's I think it's a shame because it kind of brings us full circle back to this thing about toys where, you know, I think some really good, nice Tron figures, I think has the potential to do quite well. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Gareth may disagree. I mean, the Tron figures that you've had in the shop, have they sold?
Yeah, they sold well, did those? They did quite well. The Black Hole figures did really well too. The only ones along those lines that didn't sell well were the Rocketeer. I've got shed loads of Rocketeer figures.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that film.
Fantastic film.
Yeah, I enjoyed the film, and I think the look of the Rocketeer is a good look, but it reminds me of a TV show that I used to watch as a kid. Now I think it came out in the 50s or 60s, but I think what it called the
black and white one. Black and white serial item. Yeah, I remember it from that time. Yeah. That's what the Rocketeer is based off, isn't it?
It's what?
That's what the Rocketeer film is based off, though, isn't it? Surely.
I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. But I think they called him the Rocketeer or something like that. That TV show. But I can always remember he used to turn the dial on his thing.
Yeah, twisty dial.
Put his helmet, run, and then jump, kind of thing, like, you know. Yeah.
I'm going to go back to a comment that was posted by Logan. I think he posted this at the time that I was showing off the Dalek.
Oh yeah,
which is why he got it. But our conversation had moved on. I don't want him to think that we're ignoring him. Before I chime into this, what do you two think?
I'm not sure.
Bill.
You know what? I'd actually forgotten about her.
Bill. Who the hell's Bill?
You know Bill
is the one that would remind you every episode that she was lesbian.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Bill, the lesbian.
Yeah.
This very modern Who.
This is Capaldi, Peter Capaldi.
Oh,
you know, a bit like in Ahsoka, where Hera reminds you every episode that she's a general.
The Cybergirl one, yes.
Yeah, she got turned into a Cyberman.
Yeah. That didn't. But she wasn't. Was she even in it for that long? She didn't really.
She did a series. I don't know if she did 2, but she did a series.
Sorry, just quickly. There you go. That's the watch.
That's very nice. That's cool. Very nice.
That's the watch. I've got the like that one, the pale bluey one. Oh yeah, there you go.
Funny enough, I was just looking at the Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon black and white serials for the research the other day, and they're quite entertaining as well.
Oh, Buster Crab.
Yeah, and he appeared in the later series, in the Colour series as well.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he played the guy with the tash, the generally kind of guy, didn't he? Yeah,
which I thought was a nice touch. Probably one of the first times that anyone's ever done that, actually. You know, brought an earlier iteration into a modern version. That's quite. I haven't really thought about that before, but yeah, that could be one of the first times anyone's ever had the chance to do it.
It could be, yeah. Because I mean, there'd be no reason to do it in Battlestar Galactica because that was the first one of its thing. So,
well, I mean, they did, but they were playing it, you know, because they brought Apollo in.
No, I mean the original Battlestar Galactica. That was its first one. So back then they wouldn't have been able to bring anyone in because it wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't a previous one. I know for the remake, the reimagining, they did something. Yeah.
I guess Batman and Superman they could have done. Anyway, we're straying off the Doctor Who companion topic.
Yeah. So yeah, Doctor Who. Yeah.
So who's your least favourite companion, Andy?
I'm not sure that I know enough of my full history of Who to make a comment on that. See, I was thinking of one like Tegan, and then I was also thinking of linking Doodah Dancy Face. What's her face?
Bonnie Langford.
That one, yes. Was she of any use whatsoever?
Not really.
No, I didn't
Well,
think so.
how about then? How about separate it to a worst companion from original Who, and then a worst companion from New Who? Do it that way. No, right? Okay. No.
No,
Mel's actually coming back, so she can be the least favourite of both.
Which one? Mel? Which one was Mel? Who was she with?
Bonnie Langford.
Oh, is that what they called her, Mel?
Well,
Right.
Sophie Aldrin's
Bonnie
already
Langford,
come back, hasn't
She actually did come back in one of the Jodie Whittaker episodes as well.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I mean, I would say for classic Who, I don't think any of them particularly grated on me. The only one that I can remember as a kid thinking maybe I didn't particularly like them would have been, I don't know his name, but he's the Ginge that was with Pete Davidson. Yeah.
I agree. I'm not a fan of Turlo, to be honest with you.
You know, I don't want.
Not very good.
I mean, I liked Perry. You know, there's a couple of things about Perry that I liked.
They both happened to be on her chest.
They were indeed. But then for New Who, I wasn't. I mean, I can't say I was over it. I didn't particularly like Martha. I thought Martha was a bit of a boring companion. But, you know, I may be in a minority on that one. I don't know.
I preferred her over Rose.
Right.
My favourite of the modern companions, without a shadow of a doubt, is Donna. And until you mentioned Bill, who I had completely forgotten about, because the only thing memorable about her is her sexuality. Because she reminds you of it at every possible moment. I would have said a very controversial answer and put a tied worst two characters tied, and that would be Rose and Amy. I thoroughly despised both of them because the series was all about them. And I have no interest in a council estate chav or a kissogram.
It's Billy Piper.
So I want to watch Adventures in Outer Space. I don't care who your mum's sleeping with this week.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I can see what you mean with those.
We've got a series that can literally go anywhere, anywhen, and you're basing it off a council estate. But
that's relatable, though. That's if you're going to reintroduce the series, you've got to make it relatable for people. So in that sense, as a counterpoint to someone who's travelled all the time in space, and it's an example of just what generic humanity can be. I don't think that's that unreasonable, actually.
Well, yeah, but why did they keep bringing it back to it? Why did they keep coming back to it?
One word: budget.
Trust me, it had a bigger budget than Doctor Who had in the 60s, 70s, and 80s put together. And not once did he ever take the companion back home and then away again.
But CGI is very expensive, obviously, back then.
Jumpy did say that he liked the old black and white Rocketeer and also the Tarzan series.
Yeah.
Yes, Johnny Weissmuller.
But it fascinates me, though, how much of this stuff we actually saw. Because we were obviously, I don't know, maybe just imprints on you. Because, I mean, it would have been sort of, it must have been like late 70s. I guess a lot of this stuff was getting repeats on BBC Two and stuff. So I remember like Laurel and Hardy in black and white and Charlie Chaplin and stuff. You know,
I watched all that as a kid. Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello, Charlie Chaplin.
Well, they did used to repeat a lot of them on like weekend mornings on BBC Two. You know, I think that's because there was one. I don't know. I think this one was made in the 70s. I think it was a French one called The Flashing Blade.
Oh, I know the name.
But it was like a comedic dub to it rather than a serious dub.
Right.
So it was quite funny, you know, where, you know, obviously it'd be a serious situation, but it'd be like, oh, you've pierced my croissant, you've bound it, that, you know, that kind of thing, you know, where, you know, it wasn't a serious thing. But yeah, there were a lot of black and white stuff, like, say, the Flash Gordons, Buck Rogers, Laurel and Hardy's, you know, Rocketeer.
Yeah, some of the other stuff that I don't know if you found this, but I remember there were a lot of really good Australian science fiction kids shows that I really enjoyed. There was The Tribe, but you're younger. I'm thinking of stuff like Alien in the Family, and I mean, the series names do fade for me. There was like a time travel one that was very well done as well, but it was like a girl in the lead for it, which in that day and age was relatively unusual. I have to dig it out, but they just had some really quite sort of highbrow science fiction concepts for kids shows, which I appreciated, being me. But there's another one that I remember as well that I've never been able to find it again. I just remember it was like set on Greek islands, and it involved there was this sort of girl who jumped off a really high cliff in the intro sequence, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was called or who she was. So I feel like she went on to do other stuff, but I can't remember who she was.
I have to think about that.
Oh,
I mean, I remember stuff like Man from Atlantis.
I know of it, and I'm not sure I ever sat and watched it, but I know of it. Dustin Hoffman. No, not Dustin Hoffman.
Patrick Duffy. It was Bobby Ewing from Dallas.
Yeah, it's the Ewing one, wasn't it? Yeah.
You know, the programs like that. I mean, there were, and you know, so there was the early stuff. I mean, I don't know that. No, there were a couple I were going to reel off then, but they've slipped my mind. I were too busy watching Gareth with his head in his hands. What's up?
Well, I wanted to find out if that old black and white series that you were all remembering was the Rocketeer, or if it was the Rocket Man.
Oh yeah.
So I did a Google search for Rocketeer TV series, and of course it's been rebooted.
Of course it has.
And of course it's Disney that's rebooted it, because the Rocketeer was a Disney film.
It's a black disabled woman.
No. Partially. You're partially right.
What, the disabled? Oh, right, okay. Oh, well. Times change.
Times change, but the Rocketeer was the 1930s, and the 1930s is still the 1930s.
Yeah, but is that set in the 1930s?
Probably not, so why would it be designed like that?
But it's Disney Junior as well.
It's not for us.
It certainly isn't.
It's not made for. But I mean, there were a couple of other American ones that I remember from being a kid. Things like Red Hand Gang.
Oh, I was literally just thinking that. As soon as you said that, I thought Red Hand Gang. That's scary.
Whiz Kids. I don't know if you remember Whiz Kids. That was like a bunch of kids that used to solve crimes using the computers.
Were they hackers?
Yeah, they were kind of like hackers and stuff like that.
With a big modem they used to plug the telephone handset into.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
You know, I mean, that Red Hand Gang, that had a really funky intro tune, did that?
They did actually. They re-released that on DVD at one point because when I was doing my when I was involved with the Starfleet re-release,
that
company did Red Hand Gang.
Right.
I'm sure they did.
I might have to see if I can pick that up. Then. Little East Oboe, yeah, that was Canadian. Well, that.
Little Tobo, yeah. Down, down,
There's a voice.
down, 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 down.
Yeah, Harold Lloyd, yeah.
I always remember a children's show called Labyrinth, set in a flooded underground caves. Is the one that you're thinking of Silas?
Which one that who's thinking of?
One of you two, because I was looking up Pink Rocketeers.
Is it? Does it mean about the one about the woman jumping off the cliff?
Yeah, it could mean that one. Labyrinth. Interesting.
Not the one with Jennifer Connelly.
Obviously not.
But were there any toys of that? That was another one of my.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of Jennifer Connelly. Just give me a minute.
Or the Dark Crystal.
I will into the Labyrinth, are you?
Nightmare. There was Nightmare, of course.
Oh yeah, that was the kids show. The adventure game. Did you ever watch the adventure game, Andy? Yeah.
No one else got that. So
I know. They just released that on DVD, the full series.
I'm sure they have.
I think I'm gonna try and pick that up.
There'll be YouTube clips, I'm sure. I used to love the end game, like go to the left, go to the left.
Yeah. And the talking Aspidestra.
That was what I was going for. Was it Uncle or something? Was the Aspidestra?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Shape change or whatever.
Is that the Labyrinth you're thinking of, Jumpy? Into the Labyrinth. That's 1980-ish, from what I can make out.
Oh,
81 to 82.
No.
It's a British TV show, is that one?
Robin of Sherwood and stuff we had as well, didn't we? And there was some weird, like almost Nazi-esque kind of one as well. It was quite dark. That was like a teenage drama of the time, I think. Oh god, I can't remember what that one's called. I'd have to do research on this before we did one on this. Before I get scared. Yeah, well, it would. Why wouldn't it?
I've never seen or heard of any of these.
Well, you see, you're a young whippersnapper.
He's a young
I am
whippersnapper.
compared to you.
Most people are these days, sadly.
Bless you.
So I'm just hunting for something else. I can never remember the name of it. I've got it bookmarked somewhere. This could be it. Come on, new tab. Oh yes, here we go. That was her. Oh, The Girl from Tomorrow was the one at the time travel one I was thinking of. That's got some quite. I think it's got some quite famous people in it, actually. And there's Ocean Girl, which might even be the girl, the jumping off the cliff one that I'm thinking of, but I don't think it was.
Just like Chips as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit later, but does anyone remember Crime Traveller?
Vaguely, yes. Was that
It only had one series.
Was he like Time Cop?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
It was, what's his name? It was Michael French that played him from EastEnders. Was it not Nottingham? No, not
Oh, was that like a Narnia thing where he sort of went through a wardrobe or something to get back in time?
No, it was someone's dad. His partner in Crime Travelling's dad had invented a time machine, so he went into it was literally his living room. So he went into his living room, changed the settings, and came back out of it in the past.
All right. There's a film I'm thinking of called The Boy from Andromeda. Does that anyone remember that one?
No. How about The Box of Delights?
Oh God, yeah. I've got the book of that downstairs still. Patrick
Troughton was in that.
Children of the Dog Star. Do you remember that? These are New Zealand. These ones from New Zealand that I'm quoting here, by the way.
I think the only thing I ever used to watch from Australia were Prisoner Cell Block H and Neighbours. I mean, Prisoner Cell Block H were awesome. That were brilliant. Well, I used to love that.
I used to watch Home and Away.
It's what?
I used to watch Home and Away.
Yeah.
Space Nights. The Golden Knight.
Remember on children's BBC Friday film matinee?
Were these like the similar to like some kind of children's television workshop kind of thing? I remember those kind of films. I think there was one called Space Ball or something like that. Or
there was one with a boy from space, and he had there was a young version of him and an old version of him, but the old version was actually, I think, mentally younger than the boy was, if that makes sense.
Right.
I've just looked up that boy from Andromeda, and I'm guessing it didn't have any action figures, but I have to say, I'd love an action figure of that.
Yeah. I think it was actually a girl playing the boy, ironically.
Well,
but it did have like a predator.
How very progressive, how very modern.
Yeah, but it had a very predator-esque guy going on, as you can see.
That looks like it's straight out of a Godzilla film.
It was the protagonist, yeah. But it involved a great big space gun and all sorts of cool stuff. It's just one of those ones that's really stuck with me. Yeah, but I tell you what, though, the hours of research it took me to identify it, to be able to remember, because I didn't remember the name. So all I had to go on was like sort of volcano, space, boy, and that's literally all I had to work with.
How about that one?
I bookmarked Benji, Zach's an alien prince.
Zach Benji and the Alien Prince. That floating robot-y thing had made a good. It
would have made a good toy, yeah.
Batteries not included.
Batteries not included. I wanted toys from Batteries Not Included. That's one that I should have mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
definitely. Of course, now we have a toy from Obi-Wan, which looks like a Batteries Not Included robot.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Lola.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, they could have produced toys like that in a similar vein to like Speak and Spells or Big Tracks or Simon Says. You know, the technology was there to make those kind of toys back then. You know, just obviously they just never did it.
But like you say, it's kind of because they don't feel there's any longevity to just a film, then they don't always bother doing it. I mean, it's quite interesting that they produced. I mean, when did the Kenner is it Kenner that does Aliens toys?
79, but they never released the figures.
But they did do. But then we got some more toy Aliens stuff, didn't we? Later
in the 90s.
It was in the 90s, right? Yeah.
Like Bull Alien and Shark Alien, or whatever it was.
Shark Alien, that'd be awesome.
Alien 3 has a lot to answer for, yes.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't. I thought they made a toy of a Bull Alien, didn't they? They didn't even have horns and stuff.
Yeah, they did Bull Alien. They did
matches, yeah.
They did Scorpion Alien, which does look like an alien. Bull Alien, Mantis Alien. I would love to see that great big face hugger going around the face of a mantis.
Yeah.
Alien mantis, obviously. Yeah.
Snake Alien.
Okay.
That's just a chest burster.
Yes, without the arms, without the legs. What else was there?
That just reminds me of Space
Alien, Cougar Alien, because Cougar and Panther are so very different.
We can't be asked making up a clever name, Alien.
Yeah, this is what we need. We need a toy of that.
Oh, the Alien King.
Yeah, no, it's a dinosaur alien.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a T-Rex alien.
T-Rex alien.
That looks like the Alien King that they did a few years ago.
Yeah, Alien King was was well done, wasn't it, in the comics?
Wow,
yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Obviously not very effective with the arms thing going off.
If that was coming towards me, I wouldn't give a shit about its arms. There'd be Benny Hill music playing while I was running.
Jumpy, that's very that's
Frog dreaming with Elliot from ET about a monster in a quarry, which was a crane.
That's really interesting.
It came out. It was a film he did after ET, but I don't think it did very well.
That's stirring something though. I remember that being on at Christmas time. I don't know. I could be wrong. Because then when they used to put loads of films on the Christmas holidays, it's sort of like a relatively early morning for the kids and stuff.
Yeah,
definitely. What is it that I'm thinking of? It was to do with a mountain, and so I could cavern underneath the mountain. Oh, it's definitely triggered something now. I'm gonna have to do more research, aren't I? I can see it coming.
Stig of the Dump.
Stig of the Dump. And you know, Terrorhawks is 40 years old this year. It was 10/10 yesterday. So they were doing a live stream of various new things that are coming out for Terrorhawk.
Well, it'll be the anniversary of Starfleet on the 23rd of October.
Depends which one you're going by, but yeah.
Well, it's first UK airing.
That is quite scary. I mean, God knows how. I did do a thing on how long my website had been up a little while ago, and even that was pretty scary because that's been going about 20 plus years now.
Right.
So one guise or another.
Yeah. 42 years since Starfleet first aired on ITV. It's like, what?
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
I'm sure I was older than that when it came out.
I mean, I've drifted away from it a little bit now, but obviously it's always going to be very, very sort of close to me. So yeah, it's a funny old thing. Is that now that long ago? But I'm glad it's still out there, which is kind of one of the reasons why I was doing the site, you know.
Yeah.
So
it was called The Quest over here.
Right.
Quest. Okay. I'm gonna have to look into that one. That might be the one I'm thinking of. I'm not sure. This is why the hive mind is very handy, because if you don't remember enough details for things like this, it's really hard to track them down, as I've found over the years. Especially when they're just kind of one-off films. We never got any Robo Jocks toys. I mean, that's a tragedy.
Ooh, guess what I've just ordered?
What?
Just ordered the Arrow Blu-ray box set. It's called Into the Video Store, and one of the Blu-rays that's in there is Robot Jocks.
Awesome.
I've only ever seen it once, and that was with my uncle, and I would have probably been about 7 or 8.
That was one. I saw it in the local video store. I was like, yes. You can just imagine, can't you? It's like, I love my local video store. They were great. Blockbuster, marvelous.
Hopefully, it'll be here tomorrow.
I mean, basically, it's like the prototype for Pacific Rim.
Yeah, it is.
But with less kaiju.
The box set includes the Dungeon Master, Dolls, Cellar Dweller,
right,
Arena, and Robot Jocks.
Robot Jocks, brilliant.
I've also just ordered the Zatoichi Blind Swordsman box set. I've been putting that off for 18 months, maybe 2 years. Been waiting for the price to come down.
Pesky inflation, yes.
Everyone's refreshing. There we are. I think we're all back. You disappeared for a minute then.
Oh.
My stream has been cutting out quite intermittently throughout this.
Oh, is it? Oh, yes. Yeah, so I was going to say, Jumpy, it is Chocky. I thought that was what you meant, but yes, Chocky, yeah.
Okay. What's Chocky?
A very early children's science fiction book / TV series featuring an alien
Got to go. I think we're probably ready to call it an end now anyway, Gap. So you take care, mate, and we'll catch you again next time.
We will, Gap. See you
See you
later.
later, Gap.
Yeah, I think we're probably not far off. But yeah, a robot jocks would be cool for toys.
Yeah. Even though we only had 2,
yeah,
as I recall.
Still. But yeah, I would have been surprised if it did get toys.
Yeah, but from a sort of transformability point of view and action figures of the pilots, and you could have done it. It could have been done, and some sort of arena play set. Definitely, yeah. It's just looking,
I'm looking forward to
looking wistful.
Well, no, I was just looking something up that it would have filmed. I remember from being a kid. When I was growing up as a kid, my mum used to let me watch like all the horror films, because they never bothered me, because it was like my mum's always said to me, like, she says I'd be sat there and I'd be like, they're just men in masks, Mum. You don't have to be scared, So like the Tales of the Unexpected, I'm a House of Horror, all these kinds of stuff and that. But there was one that I remember watching as a kid, and it was called Trilogy of Terror. And there were like 3 short films in it was like an anthology kind of thing in one film.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I think it was the middle one, but I can't say for definite. And what it was a story about this woman, a friend, had bought this gift. I think it was from Africa. And it was just like a little Zulu kind of looking kind of doll, yeah? And she had it, but there was like an inscription thing with it that she didn't know what it said or didn't read. But basically, as it turns out, it wears this little belt. And if the belt comes off, it comes to life. Yeah? And basically, it's all like, this thing, the belt falls off, it comes to life. And it just like marauds around her apartment trying to kill her. But then it ends where whatever spirit is imbuing this doll, I think it turns out at the end the twist is the spirit then goes into the woman, and it just the kind of like this segment ends with her just with this knife looking at me like kind of thing, like But yeah, Trilogy of Terror. The full film's on YouTube to watch for free.
Okay.
But I remember that from. I mean, it's probably absolutely naff, but it's just
Probably.
I have this memory, from being a kid of seeing that. But yeah.
Speaking of naff, did Gene tell you what we watched on Friday?
No, what did you watch?
It's not an old or retro film. It did everything I needed it to do. Cocaine Bear.
All right. No, I've not seen it.
I don't think I've laughed so much in such a long time. It's fantastic.
So it's a bear that takes cocaine.
Yeah, I think that was the gist of the plot from what I could gather from the trailer. Yeah,
based on a true story, on factual events.
Right.
It's a documentary then.
Yeah. Well, the factual events are a plane full of cocaine is crashing, and the cocaine is thrown out in packs of the plane, and the bear finds it, eats it, dies. That's the factual event.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's Elizabeth Banks who's made the film. She's directed it, and it's like she's taken the idea of the bear eating cocaine. It's like, well, what if it doesn't die? What if it goes on a rampage?
Like Hyper Bear.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Is it a comedy? Is it a comedy?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
definitely.
Do we get like the bear's perspective? Do we get like the bear talking like as an inner monologue?
No, that would be hilarious.
Bear's like, these paws are big. What's that? Ooh.
That would be hilarious with that. But no, it was a fantastic film. Well, yeah, you know what? I'm going to say it was a fantastic film. If you could put a film in, enjoy it, and have a laugh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to make sense. And it was good.
That sounds like
yeah. The other week, I sat down with my son and we watched Borat.
Oh, right.
God.
And that were we just wept. That were just, I mean, I've seen it before when it came out, but I think it's the first time he's seen it, and we just absolutely pissed ourselves.
I've no idea how he managed to survive being in America doing the sort of shit that he pulled off on a regular basis. I've no idea how he made it.
That was fun. But yeah, so right, Cocaine Bear. Yeah, I might take a look. Has it got anyone in who's playing the bear?
There is actually a stuntman for the bear. It's not a known well, I'm sure someone knows him.
Is there any known actors in it?
Let's have a look. Yes, actually, definitely. The kind of villain, the drug dealer. Not even bloody spell. Jesus Christ. Right. Yeah, Ray Liotta.
Oh, Ray Liotta's in it.
Dealer. Yes, he does. Han Solo's in it.
Oh,
Alden
yeah.
Ehrenreich. Jesse Taylor Ferguson is someone who pops up in certain things.
Yeah, he's in Modern Family.
Yeah. Who's the other guy that pops up in certain things as well?
Oh, Paul Rubens is in it.
Yes, briefly.
According to this, he's in it playing Pee Wee Herman.
Like I say, briefly.
Yeah.
There's some old footage of him on the TV because it's set in 1986, I think.
Right, okay.
Yeah. But no, it is one hell of a laugh. It's well worth watching.
It's got O'Shea Jackson in it.
Yes. I didn't recognise him or know him from anything. So
it's Ice Cube's son.
Is it now?
From NWA, straight out of Compton.
Fair enough. What's quite funny is him and Alden Ehrenreich they're in it together all throughout the film.
Yeah.
So possibly racist, I don't know. I said, oh, look, we've got Han Solo and Lando in a film together again. And then they have to go up against the bear. And I'm like, oh, there's Chewbacca.
Maybe that's what they were going for.
Maybe.
Obscure tie-ins, yes.
That's
a damn good, funny film.
That'd be a good film to watch if you've not watched it. Straight out of Compton.
I haven't seen it.
I know of it. I don't think I've ever watched it.
Yeah. Well, that O'Shea Jackson Jr., he's Ice Cube's son. And he plays his dad in the film.
Right.
Because it's about Dr. Dre and Eazy-E and, Ice Cube and that. What's that?
That film you described, Eddie, his dad told him about the film when he was young. He said it's the scariest film he's ever seen, but never remembered what it was called. Do they put it in the oven at the end?
Yeah, I believe she does, yeah. She does manage to kill it at the end, but I think the spirit that's possessing it goes into her.
Okay.
That's the twist.
And it's called the Trilogy of Terror, did you say?
Yeah, it's called Trilogy of Terror. Yeah.
Trilogy.
But there were a few, in the 70s, there were a few films like that. There were a few British films. There were, there was Stephen King one called Needful Things. That were kind of like an anthology kind of thing. And then there was a British one. I can't remember the name of it now, but it had Peter Cushing in, and he owned a shop. And it's not like, people went to the shop and bought stuff, but everything that they bought.
I was just going to say that.
Mr. Ben.
Mr. Ben. There was some kind of curse or something attached to each of the things that people bought and that,
No. Buyer beware.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, definitely buyer beware.
Fair enough. I think we've probably reached the end of tonight's conversation.
Time for a cuppa, I think.
A cuppa? That sounds nice, does that? It does. What have you found, Ed?
It's just an email I've got through. That's all. It just flashed up. It just caught my eye, and I just thought, I don't remember that.
Mine's actually need to look at something as well on the email.
Yeah, jump it. It's on YouTube. You can watch it for free on YouTube, and like I say, it's called Trilogy of Terror.
There you go.
Our job here is done.
Yeah, we've served a purpose for tonight. That's good to know.
If I had a mic, I would drop it. But I don't. Yeah. Actually, there's me been talking. I've been talking away all this time, and I've not had my mic. It's been stood over there.
It's worked fine.
Have you been able to hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
You're quite loud enough.
I'd like to turn things down a little bit now. It's getting late, and it's time for the erection selection. We'll lower the mood.
Lower the tone.
Down at Frontier, walk around slowly, dance.
There's only you and me watching that knows what that is.
Andy, you're a local lad, aren't you, Andy?
Halifax.
No, you're not.
I don't think you went to the same nightclubs.
No. Actually, that's the point. I was going to ask, but I think he's beggared off now. He's not in the chat anymore. Mark.
Yeah.
I think I saw something. It might have been one of his streams, or it might have been a comment. But it made mention that he used to work at McDonald's in Dewsbury.
Right. Yeah.
And I need to know what year it was, because if the year is right, it may answer a question for me. Because
like, who poisoned you?
no, because I used to work there as well, and I have a feeling he worked there at the same time I did, because there's something. It does look familiar, and I can't play. But when you see,
maybe you've seen one or two of his videos.
No, I've seen. No, I mean before that.
You'd know him because the fedora sort of fedora sort of stick. It's quite.
Yeah, but no, it was one of those things where when you see someone, you think, "I'm sure I've seen you somewhere before." Yeah. So it's like if he was there in the early 90s, then that's where I may have seen him.
And on that bombshell, to be continued. World, dun dun dun. Cliffhanger.
And if he did work there during the early 90s, it might explain one or two things.
It was in 10p and change you once back, that's what it is. It was in a £5 plus interest.
No, he spilt that bloody Coca-Cola in the bin. Right, are we calling it a night then?
I think so.
Excellent.
Right then. Thanks for coming, lads. See you later.
Good night, everyone.
All the best.
That is enterprising.